Welcome to the RadioU podcast. Coming up, why the new Golden Bachelor's reputation is already a bit tarnished.
Also, how well does Hudson know unsolved mysteries?
All that and more on the way next. Today we have a staff lunch. It's Chris the engineer's birthday.
Yeah.
Every birthday at RadioU, the person whose birthday it is, they get to choose where we go for lunch.
Yep.
And then their lunch is free. Chris chose Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
which we just learned, and I'm glad this ties together. We just learned earlier this week that Chick-fil-A once again came in as the restaurant, the quick service restaurant that Americans are most satisfied with.
Right.
Beating out all competitors with a score of 83 out of 100. A couple of things on Chick-fil-A. Now that I've had some time to resonate on that.
Yeah, to really ruminate about it.
Yeah. Because I said that I feel like Chick-fil-A is just getting overrated. And I feel like it's not getting overrated. It's been this way for years.
And I asked you who should be number one then, and you couldn't come up with an answer.
I have one answer. But also, I think I need to clarify now that I've had time to think about it.
Okay.
If I was going to pick one other restaurant that would be the most satisfying restaurant, that's a quick service restaurant, it's Chipotle. You don't really go to Chipotle and ever have anything troublesome happen, right?
Chipotle, the only issue I've ever dealt with is the wait time can be pretty long, especially with the whole like pickup thing, because you pick it up and then they tell you this is the time that it'll be ready by, and a lot of times it's not ready by that time. And so I know a lot of people complain about that, and also the environment, usually not as good as like an inside Chick-fil-A environment. I think a lot of people like that Chick-fil-A is clean. It's family friendly. They come around and take your drink and they'll refill it for you and bring it back to you. So the service is just top notch. And at Chipotle, you can run into some dirty tables, some, maybe some not super nice staff. So it just depends what Chipotle you end up with.
It is different at Chipotle. You understand why the staff is getting upset when the person's like, well, remember the CEO that was like, you just have to give him a look.
Right.
And now he's the CEO of Starbucks.
Right.
But yeah, you're like, if I'm a Chipotle employee and you're giving me the look about adding more guac to your order, it's just like, I don't want to deal with these people.
Exactly. I would imagine working at Chipotle would be a little stressful. So with just the way that it's set up. But yeah, I just think that overall, while I do like the food from Chipotle and most of the time am very satisfied with it, I think I would rather avoid eating there in person. But Chick-fil-A, I never feel like it's a bad choice to eat there in person.
My criticism of Chick-fil-A is also a compliment, and that is that it often takes a while to get your food, or if you go inside to have any space to think or sit or anything, because it's so popular. It's a beehive of activity. And like somebody sent us a video probably a few months ago at this point, of their new Chick-fil-A that had opened up, and the line was out onto the street.
Yes.
And what did we tell them at the time? We're like, listen, Chick-fil-A's good, but it's not worth waiting 30 minutes for.
But we did say if you did wait in that line, it would be the fastest, wrap around a building line you've ever been through. And that's because even though they get these crazy long lines, they tend to be quite efficient with it.
They're efficient, but there's just so many people there that it does harm the experience. So
I don't think it harms it.
I will say that the survey was about satisfaction, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so what I realized is, while Chick-fil-A is far from the best, like I said when we talked about it at first, I don't think Chick-fil-A does any of their food is not the best of that kind of food. The fries are not the best fries. The chicken's not the best chicken.
I think the sauce is the best.
The sauce is pretty good, but it's hard to even compare.
I don't think there's any sauce that really beats it in fast food. I don't think there's anything.
I think it's up there. It's up there.
Why are you so unwilling to even give them a handshake for their best thing?
Because I love, well, one, I don't go to a restaurant for sauce. And two,
I gotta go to Chick-fil-A for the sauce.
I also love Raising Cane's sauce. Instantly comes to mind as being very good as well, for example.
Chick-fil-A has so many sauces. It's not just one.
I don't even know about the rest of the sauces.
The honey barbecue one they have. Oh my gosh. You need to try that today.
But I like the Chick-fil-A sauce.
We just
If I was going to agree with you that they do have the best sauce, it's the Chick-fil-A sauce, and then why would I have anything else?
Because their other sauces also happen to be just as good.
I don't believe that.
Well,
I think
you haven't
Chick-fil-A
tried
sauce
it
is
yet.
one of one.
Maybe you need to try it before you say that.
But here's my point. I'm not going to a restaurant because of their sauce. And other than that, they don't do any food the best.
I disagree.
But I also have I can't think of a time besides like waiting forever of a time where Chick-fil-A has had a bad experience where I've gone and like the food wasn't good in some way. Mm-hmm. And almost every other place, even though like typically it's good, almost every other place has some slip-ups.
There's at least one
And
time.
so Chick-fil-A is reliable.
Yeah.
It's satisfying. You know what you're getting and you're going to get it. And
Yeah.
you might have to wait in a big line to get it, but you will get it.
You will get it.
And it's not, and then you're not going to get to the end of that line, get your food, and then be like, no, I waited all this time in line for this.
It's worth the wait.
Yeah. So it is satisfying. So
Yeah.
I think that offers some clarification. But that said, Chick-fil-A is still overrated. The line shouldn't be that long because the food is good. It's not great.
But I just don't think that there's any real comparison as far as other fast food places that would be as good and as reliable.
But when I go to a restaurant, I go for the food, and so I want the food to be good.
But reliability is a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, so you can always know that it's going to taste how you want it to taste. If you like Chick-fil-A, you want it to taste like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So if it's always going to taste like that, then why would you ever regret going?
I don't regret going.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's the best. We've done other things like this, like when we did fast food fries. If you laid out all the different meals in front of you,
Yeah.
there's no chance I'm choosing Chick-fil-A. There's absolutely zero chance. But if I want to just know that I'm going to get something, then Chick-fil-A is a great choice.
Yeah, I just think we're going to have to agree to disagree because you're on the opposite side of the spectrum on this one, apparently from a lot of people, because a lot of people think it's the best.
It's the best experience. It's not the best food.
Experience is a big part, though.
It's RadioU. It does seem like we just did this a couple weeks ago, but the TSA offering some clarification once again. This time they want to let you know a Waffle House ID does not count as a real ID. It's not a replacement for a real ID. 8772 RadioU. This was a response to a guy named Matthew Capucci on Twitter, where he said TSA might want real ID, but I have the realest ID. And it's a picture of it's a Waffle House ID. It's completely yellow. It has an American flag waving, and it says his name and then meteorologist. And the TSA said, respectfully, no, Waffle House IDs will not suffice as a real ID alternative. Sorry.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Is he really a meteorologist?
I don't know. So there's a lot of, that's a question that should be easier to answer. But all of the news stories I've seen on this completely, yeah, he is a meteorologist.
Okay, I was like, I hope he's not lying about his job.
All of the news stories on this ignore the question that I actually want answered. Like, yeah, obviously a Waffle House ID doesn't count as a real ID. But how do I get a Waffle House ID? That's what I want.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, who and how do you get this? Who do you have to talk to?
There seems to be no answers, and now if you search Waffle House ID, you're just gonna get flooded with all the news stories about the TSA saying they don't take them.
Yeah, and
Fine.
not the way to get them.
But I think it would be a flex for me to have this Waffle House ID that says Hudson radio host, radio star on it. I think that would offer me a lot of credibility. Credibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it would be some street cred for sure. We want the same street cred as Matthew Capucci.
Yeah. This guy is obviously a real one. He's got the realest ID. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I also think that it's kind of ridiculous that the TSA won't take it. It's got an American flag on it.
I know.
What more do you want?
An American flag waving in the wind. It's like Waffle House is it's an American institution. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been seeing this recent trend on social media of like, who would win in a fight? 100 Brits or 100 Americans? Mm-hmm. And people in the comments are like, come on, it would take one Waffle House to take them down. Mm-hmm. You know, just one staff at a Waffle House and they're done. So
They've been through it.
It's an American thing. You don't get it if you're not from here. So yeah, we need to know. Matthew, let us know the hookup of how to get these IDs.
I love Waffle House. I don't go very often because there's not a location that's nearby me.
Yeah.
But Waffle House, like the food is good. It's cheap. Maybe good as a stretch. But
I was going to say, I don't know the last time I remembered being like, yeah, that was great.
And they stay open, and this is true. Like, they are the last line of defense when, like, a hurricane or, some kind of natural disaster rips through an area. You can always count on Waffle House, and that's for real. And so I can't help but wonder if that's somehow tied to how he got this the Waffle House ID.
As a meteorologist, yes. Now we're getting down to the bottom of this.
Maybe he has to offer his services to Waffle Houses so that they know when the storms are coming, when they need to batten down the hatches and get ready to be the last thing that people can count on in a hurricane.
Right. Yes. I think that might be the key here.
That could be a connection. But I've given the weather before.
I mean, same. I give it every day.
Yeah.
So
I feel
like
these.
I deserve this.
Waffle House, let us know. I don't have a Waffle House ID, but I do have something that's possibly even better.
What?
A Waffle House shirt.
Oh, you
with
do.
skeletons on it.
You do wear that every once in a while.
I know. That's an awesome shirt.
It is a nice shirt.
That shirt should be a replacement for a real ID as well. Shout out to all the people that know there's some topics you just don't bring up around certain people. The most people have figured this out, like when you're talking, like we're going out for Chris, the engineer's birthday lunch today,
yes.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
There's going to be some certain things we would not talk about as a group.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to start throwing out, I don't know, like politics stuff probably.
Right.
I don't know. Somebody might slip up, but for the most part, people know there's the three main topics, religion, money, and politics that you just don't mention around a lot of people, especially at work. Some people are still working on that online, I think.
Oh, 100%.
But in person, most of us know the rules, almost to a fault, do you think?
I would say it's not almost to a fault, but I would say a lot more people are cautious now to bring those up maybe than in the past, because we are nervous about how people will react to certain things. Because
when you're out and about with certain people, you could bring up a topic and like maybe it's something that like you really feel like maybe something you're struggling with, for example. Like it doesn't have to be the religion, politics, and money. Those are the three main tenets.
Yeah, the big ones.
That you're not, but there's a lot of stuff like you just know you don't want to bring this up to people because either you're going to get shouted down like, oh, we don't talk about that. Like, how dare you even bring that up? Or you get like, if it's something you're struggling with, a lot of times the response, honestly, too soft. People are like, oh, we support you. But it's like, what does that even mean? Like, they don't actually, what you're doing is okay. And when you're like, no, actually, I think it is a problem. That's why I'm mentioning it. And they're like, but it's okay, though. I want to let you know that when you can bring up any hard topic with God, and what you're not going to get is, oh, we don't talk about that here.
No.
You be quiet about that. That's not a topic for discussion in this household. That is not something God will do to you. Everything is on the table. Put it out there. Let God know what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with, and you'll actually get answers. You'll actually get help. You'll actually get a conversation about it instead of, la, 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 I'm not listening. We don't talk about that. That's very rude. Leave that alone. We don't discuss that here.
Yeah, exactly. And also, sometimes we trick ourselves and we think God doesn't know our struggles. He doesn't know what we're going through. And so we're almost nervous to bring it up or whatever in our prayer time. But it's like, sometimes we need to remind ourselves, God knows everything about us. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't bring it up to him. We absolutely should in prayer and petition and all of that. But he already knows what you're struggling with, what you're going through in life. And so don't feel like you need to hide that from him because he already knows about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can hold with. Here's another truth is there are certain things that you can hold inside you, never bring up to anybody, and you know what that's going to do? Never have them solved.
Yeah.
You're going to be sitting with that until your old age, until you're dead. You're going to be like struggling with this thing that everybody else, you were too afraid to mention to anybody.
Right.
And I'm not saying you need to get on a microphone and scream it to the world, but I'm also not saying you need to keep it inside. You can talk to God about it and start there and find out how, the things can change and answers can be found that you thought would never be there because you were just trying to struggle with it all on your own.
Exactly. And I think the most important thing is when you're struggling with something, God wants to give you peace in that. He wants to give you peace so that you can make it through. And that doesn't mean the struggle goes away instantaneously. Sometimes it can, but God works in what we call mysterious ways. And so his ways are better than what we could ever imagine. But the best part about it is even if you're still struggling with something, God can give you peace as you walk through it.
Yeah, that's so huge. So start talking to God about whatever it is and don't be afraid to be shouted down because that will not happen with Jesus. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift. Get your popcorn ready. It's our Friday tradition, the weekend watch list, letting you know which new movies you could be seeing in theaters or at home this weekend. It's a huge weekend for new movies.
Yeah.
Number 1, F1 the movie, starring Brad Pitt. In the 1990s, Sonny Hayes was Formula One's most promising driver until an accident on the track nearly ended his career. 30 years later, the owner of a struggling Formula One team convinces Sonny to return to racing and become the best in the world. Driving alongside the team's hot-shot rookie, Sonny soon learns that the road to redemption is not something you can travel alone.
Oh, the road to redemption.
F1 the movie is now in theaters. It has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not too shabby.
Kyle Smith, one of our favorite critics of the Wall Street Journal, he says, Mr. Bruckheimer, that's Jerry Bruckheimer, who's involved in the making of the movie. Did like the Pirates of the Caribbean and Forrest Gump. He knows what he's doing.
CSI.
He says, Mr. Bruckheimer's style has endured for a reason. It's entertaining. Doom and gloom may be fine for the Oscar pictures that emerge tearfully in the fall, but summer is a great time for some vroom and zoom.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, good, nicely done. That's why we love this guy, Kyle Smith of the Wall Street Journal. So F1 the movie now in theaters. If you go see it, let us know at 877-2-RADIO-U. Also, I know a lot of people excited about Megan 2.0, M3 GAN 2.0. 2 years after Megan, a marvel of artificial intelligence, went rogue and embarked on a murderous rampage, its creator, Gemma, has become an advocate for government oversight of AI. Unbeknownst to her, a defense contractor has created a military-grade weapon known as Amelia, the ultimate infiltration spy. However, as Amelia's self-awareness increases, it becomes less interested in taking orders. Hoping to stop Amelia, Gemma decides to resurrect Megan, making it faster, stronger, and more lethal.
That might be a mistake.
Megan 2.0 is now in theaters. It has a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And we've been through this. Every movie that's come out for the last 6 months has had like a 75%.
Yeah.
59% from the critics might as well be like a 10%.
I know. That's the lowest we've seen in a long time.
But Josh Bell of Tom's Guide says, I'll take an ambitious mess over a boring retread. And even at its messiest, Megan 2.0 is lively and fun, full of the same snarky humor and gleeful nastiness as the original.
Okay.
So that's out in theaters as well. If you go see Megan 2.0, let us know your thoughts at 877-2-RADIO-U. Also, Squid Game 3 is on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
As well. Not a movie, but definitely worth mentioning.
Yep, season
Allie,
3.
What are you most excited about this weekend?
Honestly, I probably won't go see any of these new releases. I'm just waiting for Superman to come out, which will be in a few weeks. So I think actually it's next week for 4th of July weekend.
It's a couple weeks from now.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. It's the week after the 4th of July.
But we got some good releases next weekend, but let's not jump too far ahead of ourselves.
I'm focused on the future in this time.
I thought you are our horror lover. I thought you would be very interested in Megan 2.0.
I'm really not.
I watched the first one. I overcame my fear and watched it. But I have no desire to watch the second one.
Yeah, I know a lot of people did enjoy Megan. I was not one of them.
You didn't like it at all.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just not the type of horror that I like.
Yeah, you don't like that kind of horror. Okay. No. Well, I'm far be it for me to say I will see it this weekend. Maybe Tuesday. Probably more likely not Tuesday, but sometime in the future. I'm interested in F1.
Okay.
Just because I have a hard time believing that all this hype is for nothing. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be for something.
It's gotta be something.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you see this weekend. 8772 RadioU. That's your weekend watch list. We'll see you at the movies.
Well, today's right up my alley, Hudson. Honestly, we have such a fun, exciting intro, so upbeat.
I wish the music just kept going.
Yeah, honestly, it should. But unfortunately, this is kind of a morbid, right up my alley. I can't lie. It's
all right. Let's pump it. Let's really bring things down on a Friday.
Yeah, get everybody ready for their weekend. Well, it's about unsolved mysteries. And unfortunately, the most popular unsolved mysteries kind of sad, kind of depressing how they're not solved.
Why aren't there unsolved mysteries that are like, who left this batch of money for everyone to just share?
Right. No, the ones that actually, have captured our attention as a public, as America, and really worldwide are the ones that are pretty sad and tragic. The first one, the Zodiac Killer. So, during the Zodiac Killer's run, the still unidentified man sent 4 ciphers to the media. How many of those have been solved?
Well, I guess I have a 1 in 5 chance of getting this right, don't I?
There's 4
I like
of
those
them.
Odds. Well, also 0 could be.
Oh, true. I didn't think of that.
So I'm going to say 0.
Incorrect. 2 have been solved. 2 have not been.
What do they say?
I have no idea.
They haven't been solved by you.
Not me. No, I'm pretty sure they were like, revealing names and all of that type of stuff. Like, he just obviously wanted attention from the media.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I get it.
2 of them generally considered to be unsolved, even though people continue to try. All right, next one. Big one that still haunts many of us now. John Benet Ramsey. She was she's one of the most infamous unsolved murders in America, though she was later found in her family home when she was killed. At first, her family found a ransom note requesting $118,000 for her return. What was the acronym signed at the bottom of the note?
Acronym?
Yes.
An acronym. Obviously, this was SWR.
You were actually on somewhat of the right track because it does start with an S. But it's SBTC, which we still don't know what that stands for. So
it's a tough one.
Yeah, but obviously that ransom note kind of a ruse because she ended up being found later in the basement. All right, last question for you. Hardest question, because again, we get progressively harder with the 3 questions for right up my alley. The Black Dahlia.
Okay.
Elizabeth Short acquired the nickname of the Black Dahlia after she died. Where did that nickname originate from?
I feel like I should know this. It's a famous murder. It was the flower that she had on a poster on her wall.
Nope. No. Newspapers at the time would give names like this to pretty lurid crimes, and it's believed to be inspired by the 1946 film The Blue Dahlia, which was a crime film.
So it had nothing to do with anything actually with her at all.
No, now we associate it with Elizabeth Short, but apparently they were using that for a lot of different crimes. They would describe it as the Black Dahlia.
They were just hoping one would stick.
And one eventually did stick.
Some newspaper writer. If only there'd be a murder. Maybe he's the one who did it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Still unsolved, though, like I said. All of these unsolved.
I've got this great name for a murder, and it's just not working out.
Yeah.
I feel like if the Black Dahlia would really take off, I'd just get the right person killed.
All right, now I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
What's the unsolved one that you can't, that really racks your brain?
I feel like we've gotten some of the answers recently, but the D.B. Cooper plane case where he jumped out of a plane head first.
Yeah. That one is crazy.
Speaking of how hot it's been outside, it's led me to hit the shirtless time of year.
Oh, really?
Which I'm expanding.
Okay.
And Allie, I want to know I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, but I've never really done this before, but I'm kind of starting to mow the lawn without my shirt on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh!
That's first, it started with taking off my shirt off to drive.
You drive without your shirt on.
It's not always, but sometimes.
Okay.
And when it's this hot, I definitely do.
Okay.
And then now, an even more logical step, I'm going to mow the lawn shirtless from now on.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people do this. I feel like it's more common for guys to wear like cutoffs and, shirts that they've completely cut off.
Yeah.
To the point where it's basically they should be shirtless because, like the whole side is basically gone.
Right.
So.
Problem is, you can still get tan lines with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't want to deal with that.
Okay, so
that's why I also don't wear a seatbelt when I drive shirtless, because I don't want a seatbelt tan line.
Don't you get like the notification, like bam, 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 put your seatbelt on or whatever? Like,
I pulled that wire out.
What?
Yeah. I think it disconnected the airbag too, probably. But I'm not going to get in a wreck.
Okay, you're
and I also
very
text
confident.
while I'm driving too.
Okay.
Yeah, I do all of those things.
I'm happy you're still alive.
I do. I really have been driving shirtless. I really am mowing shirtless. And now I'm moments away from doing my daily lunchtime walks at work shirtless also.
Why?
For the tan. I need to be tan.
What?
And also normalize, like as guys, we should just be confident. We're allowed to be shirtless. We should be shirtless.
Just all the time?
I don't think we need to feel bad about it. I'm not doing it to show off my body. It's just like I'm allowed to be shirtless. It's more comfortable to be shirtless. Why shouldn't I be shirtless?
Well, you definitely should be shirtless here.
Not at work.
It's at work.
But if I'm out on the sidewalk, I can do what I want.
Okay, just like
that's legal, and it's legal to be shirtless.
Just take it off outside.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I just don't.
I just want to keep, sometimes you mentioned, like you see these guys out mowing their lawn.
Yeah.
They're old guys with leathery skin and they got their shirts off. And I don't want that spirit to die. I don't want that to go away with previous generations. I want to keep that alive and continuing forward.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't run in my family at all.
Yeah.
I've never seen my dad, not just with his shirt off, without a shirt tucked in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so he's a tucked in guy.
Yeah. He sleeps with his shirt tucked in.
Really?
I think he does.
Oh, wow.
Pretty sure.
Wow.
So I'm breaking free. Maybe this is like, some things even despite your best efforts, you like follow your parents, but some things to make you feel like you're your own person, you could do completely opposite.
Yes.
This is my completely opposite.
Okay.
My being shirtless all the time.
The shirt. Okay. I mean, sure. You can. It's America. You can do what you want.
I can do it.
But just don't do it around me.
How about some encouragement?
I just gave you some.
You said don't do it around me.
Yeah, don't.
But it's not illegal.
But I don't want to be around it.
And I also, last thing, I think I'm not doing it to show off, but I do think, because there's nothing to show off right now, but if I'm used to being shirtless all the time, maybe that will motivate me.
Into your workouts
to
or
being
something?
in shape, to having something to show off.
That might not be bad.
This is terrifying that this is something that can happen. In New Jersey, a lifeguard was impaled all the way through their body by an umbrella. As in, it went in through the shoulder and it went out through the back.
Oh, this is so terrifying.
Just to be clear, they are alive. They survived.
Yes,
they are. Which almost, if that happened to me, I'd be like, maybe I want to die.
Well, I think if it happened to me, I'd probably lose my arm. You know what I mean? Like, that was the first thing I was worried about. Like, did their arm need to be amputated or something? But thankfully, the emergency services that responded to this were quick, and they also said that the lifeguard was very, level-headed and it was just a tough girl. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
It's so tough to make it through this.
It went through her left shoulder and stuck out of her back by about a foot.
Oh, that's...
There's a foot of an umbrella. Which end of the umbrella, I'm wondering?
I don't know, but either way, it's bad.
Either one. Probably the one that goes in the ground, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
If I'm glad there's not pictures, or if there are, I am not looking at them.
No, I don't want to see them.
But how can you survive something like that.
It's just a total freak accident.
Yeah.
I saw this yesterday and I was like, whoa, what in the world? You know, all I saw was a lifeguard impaled by an umbrella. And I was thinking, did they die? Thankfully, no, as you said, in the shoulder, in stable condition, and I think able to recover from this. But
They'll
either
be back
way,
to lifeguarding in no time.
I don't know about that, but either way, just a really crazy situation. They said she was trying to like shut the umbrella or like it's the umbrella, I think, at the top of the lifeguard stand.
Yeah.
And it was like flying all over the place. She was trying to get it. And somehow it impaled her, caused her to fall onto the, the ground.
Oh.
So just really, really rough.
Yeah. I didn't need this to tell me, but like I was just at the beach and I was thinking like lifeguard must actually be a horrible job.
Really?
Why do people do it?
I mean, I think it's a nice summer job, especially for those that are like swimmers. You know, if you're on a swim team, this would be something you would probably want to do.
But you don't do a lot of swimming as a lifeguard. You do a lot of sitting there.
I know, but you need to be a good swimmer.
Yeah.
And so that's a job that somebody on a swim team could easily get.
I know that many cities have difficulty filling all of their lifeguard roles.
Yeah, they do.
Because you do have to be a very confident and talented swimmer.
Yeah.
And you have to want to just sit around and do nothing, but not actually do nothing because you have, especially at the beach, you have to pay attention.
Yeah, you got to be alert.
You can't sit there and look at your phone.
No.
So it's not a real do nothing job. It's not that easy of a paycheck, even though you're only sitting there most of the time.
You would get a nice
also,
tan.
You can also get stabbed by an umbrella.
Apparently, that is now something that needs to be added as a potential risk to lifeguard duty.
Yeah, I don't know why people do it, but I guess I'm glad they do because somebody needs to keep all of us bad swimmers safe.
I know.
I've never had to be rescued by a lifeguard, but I know other grown men that have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really embarrassing, but
I mean,
they're glad they're there.
Exactly. That's why, like we said, you want a competent swimmer to be the lifeguard because they have to save anyone that tries to go swimming. If they don't know how to go swimming, they might need to get saved.
I wonder if like grown men are the ones that are most likely to need to be rescued by lifeguards.
I know. What are
because
the stats?
they're like, I can get in here and be fine.
Overconfident.
Yeah. And
What
all
are
of a sudden
the
they're being
stats?
swept away by the rip current.
Right.
The undertow.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know what the stats are for. I would imagine it's different for the ocean versus like just a regular swimming pool as well. So
yeah, well, shout out to all the lifeguards out there.
Yes.
I don't know why you do it. A new season of The Golden Bachelor is coming soon. The version of The Bachelor where it's supposed to be like your grandparents dating.
Yeah, seniors.
Yeah. 877-2 RadioU. The season hasn't even started yet, but it's already embroiled in controversy.
Yeah.
Because the Golden Bachelor himself has been chosen. His name is Mel Owens. He's 66, but he's gotten into some hot water with comments he just said in a recent interview. He said the producers asked him, what are his preferences? And this is a quote from Mel Owens, the new Golden Bachelor. So I just said 45 to 60, just being honest. And then we had lunch with the executive producer. I said, if they're 60 or over, I'm cutting them. He's 66. He's the Golden Bachelor, but he won't date a woman over 60, according to him.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be the Golden Bachelor. Just crazy because it's like that's the whole point of the show is seniors dating, and he doesn't even want to date any seniors. Why is he the Golden Bachelor?
Yeah, I am confused. I want to be clear. I think if he's 66 years old, he's had like 50 years to figure out what he likes.
Sure.
What he is attracted to, what kind of woman he wants. If he doesn't want a woman over 60, that's fine for him.
Yeah.
No judgment.
But
he
why
shouldn't
are
be
you on
the Golden
show?
Bachelor then.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Why would he agree to it if that's not what he wanted to date?
I'm less confused about him and more confused about the producers of the show.
Yeah.
There has to be many grandpas that are ready and willing to get out and date people their own age.
And And because
but this guy's not one of them.
Right. The first season was so wholesome with Golden Bachelor Gary. Like, he was great. And I loved it. I was like, this is exactly what we need in dating, like a reality show, because it's so much more wholesome than what reality TV is now. And so I loved it. It was such a breath of fresh air. But now it's like this guy, I mean, he's channeling Bill Belichick over here. Bill Belichick's like, hold my drink. I'll take 24, thank you. So I don't know. It just seems like he is doing the show maybe for the wrong reasons and doesn't want to date a senior at all.
Now, he had some other interesting comments as well. The Mel Owens, he's 66. He's going to be the new Golden Bachelor. He also says, the woman's got to be fit because I'm staying in shape and work out and stuff. That's fine. He's in shape. He's a former football player. He also said, try to stay away from the artificial hips and wigs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I guess Dolly Parton is in his style.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he watched the first season. Let me just tell you, these grandmas were nice.
They're
were
very
beautiful.
attractive.
They were beautiful. So, Mel, I think you need a reality check here, buddy. These are not just some grandmas from, a local nursing home. These grandmas are
which deserve love too, by the way.
Exactly, but I just mean like these truly are like
they're active.
Yeah,
there wasn't anybody on. I watched literally the first episode of The Golden Bachelor. That was it. But there wasn't anybody that was like out of shape or anything.
No.
Keep in mind, it's still The Bachelor.
Right. It's still The Bachelor. They're still looking for very attractive people to be on the show. These just happen to be seniors, and there's still very attractive seniors in the world. And so I think there was another quote that he shared on this podcast that he was doing where he was like, the executive producer said, this is the Golden Bachelor, not the Silver Bachelor. And, these women will be hot, is what he said. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I it'd be funny if they just only put women over 60. Then what would he do?
I mean, that's what it should be. It's the Golden Bachelor. Isn't that considered like your golden years? Is like
your golden years? Is there a golden generation?
I don't know if there's a golden
generation,
but I do think like that would be probably considered at least 60 and over to be a senior.
I mean, that just feels right to me.
Right. Like 60 or 65 is what I would consider, maybe the point where you would be considered a senior. So it just seems like he doesn't want to date a senior.
Good luck. Good luck to him in all of his endeavors. Let us know who you think should be the next James Bond, because we just found out earlier this week Denis Villeneuve will be the director for the next James Bond movie. So it has reopened the door for the conversation because they still haven't decided who will be the actor to portray James Bond. Allie, I feel like you have somebody in mind.
I mean, I've got some people that I think I would like to see. One of them I know that has kind of grown in popularity recently has been Robert Pattinson. I think you mentioned him yesterday. I would be okay with that, but I feel like he can't be everything, and he's Batman right now. And so, like, you can't be the most, eligible bachelor in the DC universe and James Bond. That's just too much. But the one that I've liked over the years since Daniel Craig kind of announced that he was no longer going to be Bond was Henry Cavill.
So he's Superman, though.
Well, he's no longer Superman. Now it's going to be, I can't remember the actor's name that's in the new Superman movie that comes out in a couple weeks. It's Daniel something, but so he's no longer Superman. He was The Witcher as well. So he's been in some big roles. But I think what really showed his action prowess for me was the Mission Impossible movies. And I felt like he did really great in those. So I would kind of get behind that. And he's British. So I feel like that's a requirement. You need to be British to pull off the Bond. So I think I would like to see Henry Cavill. There's plenty of other guys, though, that would be great.
I'm looking at the betting odds for the next James Bond.
There's betting odds for this?
Of course there is.
Okay.
Henry Cavill's the 5th favorite at 8-1.
Who's number one?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Is he British?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I
he is
didn't know that.
He is the heavy favorite right now, though still less than a 50-50 shot. But yeah, he is definitely. And I've heard that name bounced around for a while. As what else is he? He's in Bullet Train.
He's in
He's
Nosferatu.
Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter, terrible. Not good. Not
Yeah,
good.
he's the favorite. Some of the other names, though, I don't know. I'm looking through these guys, and a lot of them are British and more popular in the UK. So
Yeah.
not people I'm as familiar with, but also I do kind of feel like I want a James Bond to be somebody that's not as much of a household name starting out.
And that would be kind of cool to see somebody that's maybe a little bit younger, a little less known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Do you have anyone in mind that fits that bill?
Well, I mean, I feel like I just want one of these people that I haven't heard of.
Okay.
So that there's not so they can just be James Bond and you're not looking at them and saying, oh, I know, like this guy's Superman or this guy's Batman or this guy is Idris Elba. Like, I just want to look at the guy and go, that's James Bond.
That's just James Bond. Yeah.
Some of the other names, see, these are the other favorites. Theo James.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
I do.
He's in The Monkey.
I always get him confused with like the Franco brothers. He has a very similar look to them.
He kind of looks like them or like Brett Goldstein.
Okay.
Like a mix.
Okay.
I'm looking at him though. So here's the thing though. I'm looking at these pictures and all of these guys in the one picture I'm seeing of them I'm looking at them and I go, that guy's not James Bond.
That's how I'm viewing it too.
Like Theo James is not James Bond.
I'm literally going through an article right now of like people's picks and I'm just like, no. I just keep going no.
Scott Rose Marsh is the third favorite. You know who he is?
I do not. Who's that?
Well, I'll show you a picture. He's not James Bond. He is not James Bond. No, sorry, Scott Rose Marsh.
Not attractive enough to be James Bond, in all honesty.
Sorry, Scott Rose Marsh. Aaron Pierre is a name that's gained a lot of steam lately. He was in the sci-fi show Krypton. Also in the movie Old, Rebel Ridge, and Mufasa the Lion King. I feel like anybody associated with Mufasa the Lion King shouldn't be
Bond.
Yeah.
Also, that's okay. Yeah.
And then we get to Henry Cavill. I don't know. Yeah, I want none of these guys. I want somebody else completely.
Okay, I think another off the board pick that I'll go with, and I believe he is British or at least Irish. Jack O'Connell.
An Irish Bond.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.